Imagine that a random movement of an excavator unveils an incredible secret, be it an ancient artifact or a fossil. On the Top Facts channel today, we will show you astonishing discoveries that can tell more than the oldest manuscripts or legends. Sarcophagi, extinct reptiles, and priceless treasures. You will see all of this in the new episode. Let us begin from a great distance in time, from those eras when humans on Earth were not yet conceived and the planet teemed entirely with terrifying creatures. Once in Texas, there occurred a never-before-seen drought. Exhausting heat even dried up rivers and revealed part of the riverbed. The landscape, transformed by this event, unveiled secrets that had been hidden under layers of sediment and beneath the water for millions of years. Imagine the astonishment of the rangers in Dinosaur Valley State Park when they saw a new landscape scene dating back 113 million years. That is precisely the age of the dinosaur footprints that clearly emerged on the dried trail. Water had flooded this channel only 2,000 years ago, but still they had been hidden for far too long. No one could boast of having seen these tracks before. Paleontologists dubbed this track the Lone Ranger Trail, because by all indications, it had been the territory of a single dinosaur. A predatory Acrocanthosaurus that lived during the early Cretaceous period wandered here alone. This colossal animal, about 5 meters in length and weighing around 7 tons, left approximately 140 footprints. 60 of them are easily accessible for viewing and will now captivate scientists and park visitors. Scientists managed to make a discovery that inspired them less than it frightened them. They found fossilized remains of a marine reptile dating back 66 million years. This fossil once belonged to one of those animals that evoke awe, a creature so formidable that it seems like a hybrid of the most terrifying predators found in nature. Judging by the fossilized remains, the horrifying 10-meter titan of the seas outwardly resembled at once a plesiosaur, a Komodo dragon, an orca, and a shark. The ancient marine reptile was not an ordinary inhabitant of the ocean. This apex predator ruled its watery kingdom with enormous jaws and massive body size. It could easily bite through and devour a plesiosaur, whose fossilized skeletons were found not far from Casablanca in Morocco. As scientists carefully studied the remains, they realized they had stumbled upon something more than just a large predatory creature. They found evidence of its dominance, namely the remains of its victims, broken bones and skulls of other large marine reptiles. This indicates that the dominant predator feasted with ruthless efficiency. The wear on its teeth revealed extensive experience in chewing hard bones. This discovery was named Machimosaurus Rex. The fossilized remains of the largest marine crocodile became the largest fossils of their kind ever found. Imagine a crocodile 9 meters in length and weighing 3 tons, and you will understand the excitement that gripped the scientists. They discovered a prehistoric animal, and this find changes our understanding of reptile evolution. In its time, Machimosaurus ruled the oceans. Researchers analyzed the unique features of Machimosaurus. Through the analysis of surviving remains, they managed to form an idea of its way of life. Its powerful skull and jaws with strong teeth were made to kill. This ancient marine predator was likely a versatile hunter in its habitat and could attack prey such as large marine turtles or fish while hiding in shallow water. The crocodile itself is an apex predator. It has no natural enemies. But for paleontology, the existence of Machimosaurus in the Cretaceous period raised questions. What happened to them during potential mass extinctions at the end of the Jurassic period? Usually, the work of an excavator operator involves endless piles of earth, sand, and stones, hardly picturesque enough to warrant close examination. But the 21st of March 2011 year was a special day for a worker at the Millennium Mine in the Canadian city of Alberta. On a routine weekday, a heavy equipment operator with vast experience working in the sands accidentally discovered remnants of a long-lost world. After noon, his enormous excavator struck something much harder than ordinary stones and soil. Soon the find would be identified as a magnificently preserved fossil of an ancient dinosaur. At first, the man did not realize the scale of the discovery, but when the dust settled, it became clear that this was only the tip of the iceberg. The rest of the fossilized remains were buried deep in the ground. As a result, they extracted from there a fully preserved dinosaur of the species Nodosaurus, with a 110-million-year-old history. One could see it in its full natural size and imagine what creatures roamed the planet's humid forests hundreds of millions of years ago. Most importantly, not even its size or age, but rather the quality of the fossilized Nodosaurus remains gave scientists the maximum amount of useful information, right down to what its last meal had been. From prehistoric fossils, let us move on to the achievements of ancient civilizations. In November 2023, archaeologists announced that they may have discovered evidence of the existence of Noah's Ark in Turkey. The research team worked in an area not far from Mount Ararat. According to the biblical tradition, the Ark is located precisely in that region, and Ararat possesses all the characteristics to match the place. The team of researchers had been studying the region since 2021, and their initial findings suggest that rock and soil samples from the geological formation contain clayey marine materials and remains of marine creatures. Where could they have come from atop a mountain, you may ask? And the age of the layer may indicate that 5,000 years ago there was human activity here. This perfectly corresponds to the timeline of the biblical Great Flood. Apart from the age, the artifacts found on Mount Ararat have other characteristics. For example, fragments resembling curved parts of a ship, which match the dimensions of the ark mentioned in biblical texts. The discovery remains controversial, while some scientists and researchers look optimistically at the long-awaited proof that Noah's Ark indeed parked atop Mount Ararat. Geologists remain skeptical, considering this structure a natural rock formation. However, the search for the Ark has not ceased, and if its authenticity is confirmed, this event may represent a second birthday of humankind on Earth. In 1748, under the leadership of the Spaniard Roque Joaquín de Alcubierre, a group of researchers began excavations near Naples. As is well known, not far away is the very volcano Vesuvius, which was responsible for the destruction of the glorious ancient city of Pompeii. The archaeologists, of course, hoped for ancient hoards and countless treasures. The prerequisite for the excavations was the discovery in 1689 of the ruins of an ancient building inscribed with the word Pompeii. But what they unearthed exceeded their boldest expectations. The seekers found an entire city, frozen in time. This became a second discovery of the great city lost to history after it was buried under volcanic ash as a result of Vesuvius's eruption in 79 AD. Initially, the researchers did not realize the scale of the find. As they delved deeper into the excavations, they discovered remnants of buildings, entire streets, and everyday household items, all beautifully preserved under layers of volcanic ash for nearly 2,000 years. Remarkably, frescoes almost untouched by time adorned the walls of the houses, and jars with fruits and loaves of bread remained intact. But the most interesting and telling aspect of this story, of course, was represented by the found skeletons of Pompeii's inhabitants. The remains vividly showed the last minutes of the city's residents who, in a desperate attempt to escape the catastrophe, tried either to run away or take shelter. The scene of these excavations seems almost cinematic. A group of archaeologists examined the ancient resort of San Casciano dei Bagni in Tuscany. They stumbled upon an incredible collection of 24 bronze statues that were created more than 2,000 years ago in ancient Italy. It must be said that in this country you do not need to dig deep to discover historical treasures. Antiquity often lies right under your feet and the air is filled with anticipation. Every movement of an archaeologist's brush can reveal secrets long buried under layers of mud and thermal water. This astonishing find of bronze sculptures not only captivates the imagination, but also sheds light on the mysterious transition from the Etruscan civilization to the Romans. The statues depict ancient Roman gods. Hygeia, the goddess of health, was considered a symbol of rejuvenation and healing. Her arm is entwined with a snake, something that modern medical symbolism has borrowed. Nearby, there were also statues of Apollo and other relics, figures of imperial matrons and children. In Egypt, archaeologists uncovered a remarkable tomb in the Sakara necropolis, located approximately 30 kilometers south of Cairo. This burial site remained undisturbed for 4,400 years, and it is believed that it is the resting place of a high priest who served during the 5th dynasty. The tomb is part of a larger complex of the oldest pyramids in Egypt. The colors appear almost fresh. The interiors of the walls are adorned with vibrant hieroglyphs and statues, including scenes that depict the priest with his family, his mother, wife, and relatives. It is astonishing how colorful statues and hieroglyphs remain untouched after 4,500 years of preservation. They give scientists a rare opportunity to glimpse Egypt's legendary past. Excavations of the Sakara necropolis began in December 2018 year, and in total, archaeologists found 5 ancient tombs that belonged to high-ranking officials. They managed to restore all the names and occupations of these individuals, as well as obtain valuable information about ancient Egyptian burial traditions. In 2020 year, archaeologists made a groundbreaking discovery in Egypt. They found, buried under sand for centuries, the lost golden city of Luxor. This 3,000-year-old city is from the era of Amenhotep III, one of the most powerful pharaohs of ancient Egypt. Few believed that an entire city could be preserved in the sands, along with structures, rooms, tools, and artifacts from everyday life. Among them were jewelry and amulets, clay vessels, and wine jars. All these items came from a city that no one had ever seen before. The discovery became one of the most significant events since the finding of Tutankhamun's tomb. The greatest surprise for an archaeologist is often the contents of ancient tombs. But sometimes, while expecting troves of golden jewelry and precious stones, they find something completely different. Imagine the scene: a team of archaeologists, armed with brushes and chisels, carefully excavated ancient tombs that had remained untouched for centuries. On the western bank of the Nile, in the vicinity of Luxor, lies the City of the Dead, to which the El Asasif necropolis belongs. The place, in the shadow of the magnificent temple of the goddess Hathor, was initially shrouded in mystique. And when the sands were touched by the hand of a modern researcher, mysteries emerged one after another, astounding the scientists. The scientists touched upon something that shocked the archaeological community. Before their eyes appeared a collection of 9 mummified crocodile heads. This was not just a find, but a great discovery that challenged all historians, Egyptologists, and archaeologists who thought they knew everything about ancient Egyptian burial practices. The crocodile heads were contained in 2 elite tombs. One belonged to a high-ranking official during the reign of Pharaoh Mentuhotep II, who lived more than 4,000 years ago, and the other probably became the final resting place of a vizier. However, the crocodile heads were not mummified in the traditional way, but simply wrapped in cloth, without any additional treatment. This detail created the supposition that the remains had important meaning beyond simply complementing the burial ritual. In 2021 year, archaeologists worked in the ancient Egyptian city of Taposiris Magna, whose name means the Great Tomb of Osiris. During the excavations, they discovered a 2,000-year-old mummy buried with a unique golden tongue. The significance of this find is likely connected to ancient Egyptian beliefs regarding the afterlife. During embalming, a golden tongue was placed in the mouth so that the deceased could communicate with Osiris, the god of the underworld. This mummy became one of 16 found burials. In the same place, archaeologists also uncovered other valuable artifacts and statues. Taposiris Magna is known for its temples of Osiris and Isis. A team led by archaeologist Kathleen Martinez previously found coins here bearing the image of Cleopatra VII. Likely during her reign, this area was well developed. In addition to the mummy with the golden tongue, the burial contained a female mummy with a posthumous mask and 2 mummies with scrolls, the content of which is still being studied. The use of gold was associated by the Egyptians with eternity and a divine beginning. Let us turn to European civilizations. The oldest stone in the world bearing runic inscriptions was discovered by archaeologists in Norway. Its age is presumably about 2,000 years. The stone was found in 2021 year during excavations of an ancient burial ground in Tyrifjord, west of Oslo. The flat square block of brownish sandstone contained inscriptions considered to be among the earliest examples of runic writing. The stone, measuring 31 by 32 centimeters, was named the Svinger Stone in honor of the place where it was found. It bears several types of inscriptions, one of which, transliterated into the Latin alphabet, reads Idibarug, possibly the name of the person buried in the grave beneath the stone. A key researcher in this project described the find as one of the most sensational in her academic career. The stone, which contains information about the oldest Scandinavian alphabet, will be exhibited at the Museum of Cultural History in Oslo, which houses the largest collection of historical artifacts in Norway. In April 2021 year, Ukrainian archaeologists began large-scale excavations of an ancient burial mound near the village of Novo-Oleksandrivka, not far from the city of Dnipropetrovsk. What they managed to discover was called the Ukrainian Stonehenge, a Scythian burial mound up to 5,500 years old, older than the Egyptian pyramids. The impressive structure, 7.5 meters in height and 50 meters in diameter, served as a sacred burial hill for more than 1,000 years. Its 64 stone boulders are arranged in a circle, and each carries its own sacred significance. In 11 niches, archaeologists found skeletons along with broken pottery. It is believed that outstanding individuals, leaders and shamans who were deeply revered in their communities, were buried here. A story worthy of a detective. In December 1974 year in Los Angeles, a rare Ferrari Dino model 246 was stolen from the plumber Rosento Cruz, purchased only 2 months earlier as a gift for his wife. The car was stolen right from a restaurant parking lot. Years later, in 1978 year, the car was found buried in a yard. Initially, it was believed to be the work of car thieves, but the truth turned out to be unexpected. As detectives found out, the owner of the car himself staged the theft in order to obtain insurance money. And instead of drowning the car, the thieves hid it, hoping to sell it later. However, their plan failed, and the car ended up in the hands of the insurance company. It was sold at a closed auction for $5,000, and after some time, resold for $23,000. Now fortune clearly favors the automobile. The last owner, Brad Howard, restored it, displayed it at car shows, and continued to drive it proudly. Now that is truly a work of art from Ferrari. That is how our episode turned out. If you enjoyed it and want to see the next part or something similar, write about it in the comments, give it a like, and subscribe to Top Facts for the most incredible selections of facts and videos from all over the internet. Thank you for watching, and check out the 2 previous top-rated episodes.